When do we beat Mexico at the border? They're laughing at us, at our stupidity. And now they're beating us economically. They are not our friend. And these are the best and the finest. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're not sending you. They're not sending you. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us. They're bringing drugs, they're bringing crime, they're rapists, and some, I assume, are good people. Last week I read 2,300 Humvees. These are big vehicles were left behind for the enemy. 2,000, you would say maybe two, maybe four? 2,300 sophisticated vehicles they ran, and the enemy took them. You're right. I can just say this. More people are in this country right now illegally than ever before. I will build a better wall, and I'll build it for cheaper, and Mexico will pay, if that's your next question.
Yeah, how do you get Mexico to pay?
Because they are ripping us left and right.
But
Mexico.
how do you make
By the
them
way,
pay?
I love the Mexican people. Many Mexican people work for me. Many Mexico people I do business with. They purchase things for me, like apartments, et cetera, et cetera. I have great relationships with Mexico and with the Mexican people. I love the Mexican people. I love their spirit. While I'm not at this time a candidate for the presidency, I will decide by June whether or not I will become one. Our current president came out of nowhere. Came out of nowhere. In fact, I'll go a step further. The people that went to school with him, they don't even know, they never saw him. They don't know who he is. I have no record. Can't be criticized. Wonderful guy. He's a nice man, but there was no record, nothing to criticize. He didn't go in wars. He didn't go in battles. He didn't beat this one, that one, have enemies all over the place. Nobody knew who the hell he was. He's now our president. Business Week magazine, which is now Bloomberg Business Week, said in a vote of its readers that Donald Trump was the world's most competitive business person, with Bill Gates being number 2 and Warren Buffett being number 3. I've beaten many people and companies, and I've won many wars. I have fairly but intelligently earned many billions of dollars, which, in a sense, was both a scorecard and acknowledgement of my abilities.
If the state of Hawaii says this is official, he was born in Hawaii on this date, here it is, why do you deny that?
A lot of people do not think it was an authentic certificate.
How can you say that if this...
You won't report it, Wolf, but many people do not think it was authentic. His mother was not in the hospital. There were many other things that came out. And frankly, if you would report it accurately, I think you'd probably get better ratings than you're getting, which are pretty small.
Fifth Avenue on a day so hot the pavements are melting. I'm on my way to see an iconic American. My treat today, I get to spend quality time with the man behind the brand and below the hair.
But what makes you think that you can do a better job, especially when you seem to have quite a thin skin? You get very upset when people make fun of you.
Well, no, I don't get upset.
Donald Trump is here tonight.
The White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2011. Donald Trump had fought a bitter campaign demanding to see the president's birth certificate because he doubted that he'd been born in the US and thus even qualified for running the country. That night, the president got his own back.
No one is prouder to put this birth certificate matter to rest than the Donald. And that's because he can finally get back to focusing on the issues that matter. Like, did we fake the moon landing?
I was at the White House Correspondents' Dinner in 2011 when you were the butt of President Obama's jokes, and it was very funny, but you weren't laughing. You were sitting there scowling. You couldn't take the joke.
Okay, no, you're wrong about that. I loved it. I absolutely
didn't look like it.
You're wrong.
I was watching you.
Excuse me. I had 5,000. Well, I didn't know how to act. Do I smile? Do I laugh? What am I supposed to do? I had every camera in the world on me at the time. And I said to my wife, I tapped her on the knee and I said, do you believe it? This entire speech is about me. I can't believe it. I loved it.
You've clearly had some big successes in the business world, but you've also had some big failures. And let's go straight.
No, I don't think I've had big failures. Donald Trump has always been very, very successful. And so when you say failures, I don't think I've had failures, but let's go ahead. Ask me about a couple.
Okay, Trump hotels and casinos filed for bankruptcy protection 3 times in 6 years.
Okay, let me explain it to you. Very simple.
Isn't that a failure?
Not really. I mean, look, it worked out very well for me. It was very successful. I then levered the company. I took it public. So I had a relatively small piece of the company. And what happened is Philadelphia...
Wait a second, you were chairman of the board.
Excuse me.
You were chairman of the board.
I was chairman, but I didn't run the company. I had nothing to do with running the company. Management ran the company.
You were paid $2 million a year.
Excuse me. I didn't run the company. I'm just telling you.
So what were you paid $2 million a year for?
Excuse me. Because of my genius, okay?
Well, Donald Trump, thanks so much for your time.
Yeah, you pull that door.
See, it's good to be Donald Trump. The elevator's waiting for you.
Well, we have a lot of fun.
Whoa, hello. Whoa. Now look, is this a normal life? And all day long we have people waiting at Trump Tower. Hi, everybody. It's never been like this. I guess it was the show. And yes, come.
Take a picture.
Real fast one. From Brazil. Go ahead. I mean, we're losing our base. We're losing our jobs, our manufacturing. We're losing everything. We don't have victories anymore. Everything is bad.
We hear the economy's coming back.
Not coming back. You better watch it. You're going to get run over by a truck.
Did you enjoy the celebrity stroll?
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed being with you. I love your show. The 3 of you are fantastic people. I wouldn't do this. Look at this. Is this crazy? I wouldn't do this for anybody but you. 2016, and I didn't put you there, right? I don't even know who this guy is.
Donald Trump is now threatening to sue the network Univision after they pull the plug on their Spanish-language coverage of the Trump-owned Miss USA pageant.
I love the Mexican people. 2 waiters came up to me tonight. Mr. Trump, we love you. I said, where are you from? Mexico. I said, that's great. I love you, too. I do. I love Mexico. I've had tremendous relationships with people in Mexico. But I said, we need a strong border. I said, we need a wall.
Joining us now from his headquarters here in New York City is Donald Trump. Would you take any of that back or rephrase any of it if you could?
No, because it's totally accurate.
He's as close to a third-party candidate as you can get without leaving the Republican Party.
It's sort of interesting, John, talking about him being the common person. Right before we went to him live, apparently some woman went up on stage because he invited her up to touch his hair to make sure it's real. We've actually got the video where the woman goes up and touches his hair. You know, you can see it right now in that video. I mean, this is an extraordinarily different type of campaign. I mean, this is the first hair touching I've heard of.
I think we'll able to get somewhere.
Are you not more concerned about them than you're concerned about illegal immigrants coming in here and
I'm concerned about everything. I'm concerned about the country. Our country's going to hell.
You're for the Second Amendment. Do you have a gun?
I have a license to have a gun. Yes, I do.
Do you own one?
Yes, I do.
Do you use it? Gun range?
It's none of your business. It's really none of your business.
So you will release your financials on time?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have it on time. In
That's
fact,
8 days from now.
Excuse me.
Now that you're in second place in the polls, Politico runs a story quoting Republicans, including Ari Fleischer, the former Bush White House spokesman, calls you roadside accident. He tarnishes everyone, irresponsible, divisive, hurtful. Does that hurt your feelings?
No, I mean, Ari is somebody that nobody respects, and nobody has any respect for him. I'm surprised you even waste your time quoting him. I'm going to make America great again. Politicians aren't going to do that. And everybody takes me very seriously.
On the Mexican comments, why not say, maybe I went too far, poor choice of words, or even, I'm sorry?
I don't have to say that. Look, the Mexican border is a sieve. People are pouring through our country, into our country. We don't know who they are, where they are. They come from all over the world, not Mexican. I employ thousands of Mexicans. I've employed over the years many thousands of Mexicans. Right. I love the Mexican people. They're fantastic.
Lived here in New York in the early 90s when the tabloids went haywire over your breakup with Ivana and your relationship with Marla Maples. When this gets dredged up and people say, Trump, he's not a good role model?
Look, everybody knows me. I've had an amazing life. I've built an amazing business. And actually, they said, oh, he'd never say what his business is worth. It's actually a much higher number than the number I gave. Jobs back from China. I'm going to take jobs back from Mexico. By the way, Mexico's the new China. Mexico is killing us. What are we doing? We're losing our base. Our GNP is, think of it, it's less than zero. That means we're getting smaller. And all these other countries are growing like weeds.
It's fair to say that sometimes you exaggerate.
I don't think
I exaggerate any more than anybody else. I think that I have a great grasp of numbers. I have a great grasp of values. I'm worth many, many billions of dollars.
Miss Universe and Miss USA, I own it. They're here. They're gonna really do a number on me. I'm challenging President Obama, my son Donald, my son Eric. Let's go, ladies. What a mess.
Without the loss. You know who owns the New York Times? Is that Carlos Slim?
He has a piece of it.
Yeah, he is the wealthiest man in the world.
And he's a good guy, I know him.
You know Carlos Slim?
Good guy.
How much money is that guy worth?
He's got a lot of money. I don't know what it is.
It's got to be like 100
Under
billion.
siege, yes, 60 billion or something.
Oh my God.
Under siege, but that's okay.
And what is it? It's none of my business. But what are you worth? A guy like you.
They say I'm only worth $9 billion.
$9 billion?
Yeah.
Only worth $9
billion. I don't feel so good when you mention Carlos Slim.
Yeah.
I want to start by talking about the Pope. There's a big debate in the Republican Party now about what role things he says should play. You've spoken favorably about him. He's talking this week about the environment. Should a potential president listen to what the Pope says about global warming?
Well, I'm not so sure. Look, I have a lot of respect for him. I think he's really a terrific person. I love his stance. He's so different. He's very refreshing. But I think you want to listen to science. You want to listen maybe to your own gut, maybe your own experience. I'm not sure you have to necessarily listen to the Pope.
Sure. One is they say that you are a protectionist. You said yesterday in your speech that you are a free trader. They point out that you've advocated a 25% tariff on Chinese imports.
Sure.
How can you claim to be a free trader and before a 25% tariff on Chinese imports?
Well, first of all, the Club for Growth was actually, John, they came up to see me very recently. In fact, Corey was here. And they sent us a letter, I think we have it, asking for a tremendous contribution. That's interesting.
Yeah.
In fact, I was shocked by the amount of money we're talking about. So that was wonderful. Look, it's not a question of instinct. I feel very confident. I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I was a good student. It's like one of the hardest schools in the world to get into. I then do a book called The Art of the Deal. It's the #1 selling business book of all time, or just about. You may say, oh, there was one that sold 2, but, you know, just about. It's still in the schools, everything else. I then do a show called The Apprentice. In the meantime, I build this incredible empire. It's got a tremendous net worth, very little debt. And then I hear some pundit or some person say, he doesn't deserve to be on the stage with a senator. The senator is nothing. And I'm not saying, or senators are nothing. I'm saying certain people are zeros. Because China and all of these people, Mexico is the new China, by the way. Mexico is unbelievable what they're doing with cars and with industry. They are taking our business like we're a bunch of babies. We don't have our best and our brightest negotiating for us. We have a bunch of losers. I'll tell you what, I'd like guys like Jack Welch. I like guys like Henry Kravis. I'd love to bring my friend Carl Icahn. You know, I mean, we have people that are great. We have people that are better than any of their negotiators. We don't use them, Joe. Yeah. We use people that are soft and weak and, frankly, stupid and incompetent. India, you know, you call up American Express and you talk to somebody on the phone, they have an accent. You say, where are you from? We're talking to them in India. And I say, we can't do that ourselves. I have buildings. I own the Bank of America building. Big deal. I own the Bank of America building in San Francisco. I deal with China. I have a great relationship with China. Business Week magazine has an article. What do the Chinese most want? One of the 10 things. Anything Trump.
Mr. Trump, thank you for being with me.
Thank you.
Mr. Trump, when you announced for president on the 16th of June, you said, and I'm going to quote you, the U.S. has become a dumping ground for everybody else's problems. When Mexico sends its people, they're not sending their best. They're bringing drugs. They're bringing crime. They're rapists. and some, I assume, are good people. It's coming in from more than just Mexico. It's coming from all over South and Latin America. You have said that you feel offended that you have been misquoted by the mainstream media, but I want to give you the opportunity to explain what exactly you meant to say by this that I just quoted.
Well, exactly what it says. Now, when it comes to trade, the leaders of Mexico are far smarter than the United States leaders. Our people don't know what they're doing. Our leaders don't know what they're doing. In Mexico, I'm talking about from all over the world, and I say that. They're coming from all over. Many bad people are coming in. You're going to have terrorists coming through the southern border. There's no question about it. We have no security from the United States standpoint. You have guards, you have border guards standing there, and people are walking by them waving.
You're a business leader, and you're very outspoken politically, and now you're a presidential candidate. Any concern that being a presidential candidate could be bad for business?
It could be. I mean, I really don't care.
Most corporations steer clear of politics because they know that by taking one side, they're going to alienate half of America. As a businessman, does it make business sense to be so outspoken?
Doesn't matter to me if it does, if it doesn't.
You do know Hillary Clinton. You've said you've liked her. You got along with her well when she was New York Senator.
Thank you all so much.
Personally, what do you like best about
I
Hillary
get along
Clinton?
with everybody. That's what we need. We need somebody that can, but they'll do what I tell them to do.
Honest about the border, and so therefore they violated a contract and they defaulted on a contract. It's a total default. What they did, Jose, is a total default. They signed a 5-year contract with no outs, and they said, oh, well. And by the way, Univision called me, and they apologized for what they're doing because they felt so stupid.
Donald, they're not just eating your lunch, they're paying for your lunch.
No,
they are your banker, and you don't pick a fight with your banker.
You don't understand economics. China is taking advantage of this country like nobody has ever taken advantage of the United States. And you look at what's going on in this country, we are not making our product now. China and other countries are making our product.
But, I mean, we live off Chinese manufacturing, whether we like it or not.
That's because when you say we, you are stupid.
You're smart enough to know that words are
What do you
weapons.
mean smart enough? What does that mean?
You're smart enough to know that words are weapons.
Well, I went to the Wharton School of Finance. I have to sort of say that because, you know, like somebody says, like, you know, you're smart enough. But go ahead.
Words are weapons. So you have to have some form of collegiality if you're president of the United States.
I get along with everybody.
Okay.
I get along with the Chinese. By the way, people think I don't like China. I love China. I sold an apartment for $55 million to a Chinese gentleman.
Donald Trump, last question. What's been your favorite place to campaign so far? Are you an Iowa guy, a New Hampshire guy?
Well, I love them both, and we're doing tremendous. A poll just came out in New Hampshire that was fantastic, and we're doing very well. I mean, I don't know. Maybe people don't want my message. Maybe they want to stay mediocre. And if they do, they should put a politician in office, because that's what's going to happen.